Welcome to Standing Up. Given a nice background, and this is a good way to enter the deal of the century.
Okay.
I don't know if they've done polling yet. I couldn't find any, but I have yet to meet a Palestinian who supports the deal of the century. The Israeli narrative on this is it's just more rejectionism from the Palestinians. They won't agree to anything. And there's really nothing more we can do, which this was the narrative prior to the deal of the century. The deal of the century just further reinforces it. So I'd love to hear from you why this deal is so bad in the eyes of Palestinians, and what a good deal would look like.
I'm insulted that somebody like Trump and Kushner are the people who tell us what to do. Okay, we deserve much better. Okay, we have people on the ground that are absolutely capable and willing to sit down and listen to everyone and come up with something that we can all agree on. The difference between Israel and the difference between all the other occupations is that Israel's not leaving. And this is something that Palestinians have not come to terms to. We always think you're going to leave like the Turks did, the British and the Jordanians, and everyone else. I don't know if that means I'm a normalizer or I'm a realist, but I have no idea.
I'd say you're a realist.
So even if we're going to take, look at Syria. Syria was depopulated in a short amount of time. It didn't really work out. It's not looking good. So I don't understand how people that are thinking that, depopulating Israel is not going to be an easy thing. I think the better deal is for us to realize that whoever's here is here, and that we need to come to some kind of conclusion together. And again, going back to, there are people who are capable, and it doesn't have to be limited to where we're always thinking in the paradigm of Jew and Arab. We have to think in the paradigm of what is good for everyone, and how will this land be able to transform from the post-colonial crap we were handed, excuse my academic term. So
okay. We allow cursing on this podcast, so feel free.
Okay. So when are we going to, be able to evolve? Now, the rejectionism, again, because me personally, I do not believe in a two-state solution. I believe we are already in one state that's dysfunctional. I believe in turning it into one state that is functional. We're everywhere. We cannot be designated to certain areas, and you guys are everywhere too. But you guys have privileges, and we have nothing. So how do we bring that? How do we bring that together? I don't know. And the thing is, the people that should be talking are not. We don't have a constitution. We don't know what I don't recognize the state. That's just because the state does not recognize me. I consider everything inside the green line that is occupied Palestine. And until Israel finally concedes and recognizes the fact that it would never exist without Palestine, I'll never recognize it. Even though I recognize, it's such a paradox, because I don't want to say, there's so many Israelis that I love, and I go to their houses, and I love their children. And I'm not saying this to, be sweet or, some kind of cliche, like after school special thing. No, I really do feel that. But I don't know how to bring it together, and it's not going to take just me.
Right. I think it's very, very important to differentiate between critique of a government and critique of a people, even if those people vote for that government, because like we mentioned earlier, when people vote, it's primarily not just one issue. There's a lot of reasons for why they vote. And nations that have a very strong fear narrative, like both of our nations do, we often vote for security, and often the person who's promising the most security makes us feel the most safe, but then in turn causes the most harm to the other side. So there's So we need to understand the difference between government and people, and to not let our disdain for a government or an institution spill over into hate for people, because that
Right.
spillover causes more fear, more hate, more radicalization, and then we just continue to vote for more extreme politicians. So
Absolutely.
it's essential
You
for
know,
both sides to show that we in fact love each other and that we want to work together. But we're
well, you
far
see, like my life's work right now is heading a learning center, and the reason that we started it is me, and it's actually started with my daughter because she went to the Hebrew U, and the thing that she found was that when Palestinians were coming into the Hebrew U, they were at such a disadvantage because they don't go through the Israeli high school system. So the bagrut, all this stuff. So the students came together, the other Palestinian students came together, sort of create a support network of tutoring, helping, counseling, and we turned that into an organization. And the thing that I've discovered is how much Palestinians, I mean, I'm not going to say everything is, has to be in a book, but for instance, like Palestinians, again, I'm going to keep stressing this, Israelis are not brought up in their schools. Another thing is, so how would you deal with the people that don't, quote unquote, don't exist? And if they do exist, they're monsters in the form of uniforms and guns and watchtowers. Two, Palestinians never take any type, we're talking about the rejectionism. They do not take government, econ, any of that in school. The only time you're introduced to government is through, and this is why I think there's a huge resurgence of Islamic support, is through Islamic studies. That is the only time that a lot of these kids take any type of government. So they have no idea that how government works, that you have the right to vote. They would probably learn that in college, that if they take the class. So you have this whole generation of people who go out, and then, I mean, if they know anything about it, it's because they either went to college outside or some kind of personal endeavor. So they don't, I mean, I don't know how to put that. Like when you have that background, you have that base, it's so easy to keep people the way they are, or to caged, or to be accepting, or to be rejectionist. Rejectionism also comes from the fact, again, a lot of the Palestinians don't come from just one area. We come from the whole of Palestine. And to tell us that we're going to be designated just to one area, or to recognize a state that doesn't even treat me as a human being, I mean, why would I accept it?
Right.